Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So, welcome back to the Bhagavad Gita introduction essay. We have been studying the introduction essay and also discussing the philosophical concepts and terminologies which are very relevant for us to actually understand the philosophy of the Bhagavad Gita while we study the Bhagavad Gita. So, yesterday, I'll just share the screen. Yesterday, we covered the second theme, which was the purpose of the Bhagavad Gita. We covered this theme, the purpose of the Bhagavad Gita, which was from paragraphs 9 to 12. And because we have to understand the Bhagavad Gita, knowledge, understanding means knowledge. So we saw the stages of knowledge, you know, and we saw the tripod understanding, pranipata pariprashna sevaya, then the Shvetashar Upanishads, definition of stages of knowledge, Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasana, and then the Patanjali Yoga Sutras speak about the stages of knowledge in the form of four levels: Aditi, Bodh, Achara, Prachar. So yesterday we saw that. So today we will be discussing paragraphs 13 to 26. Probably this is the biggest, I think, see 13 paragraphs. This is just two paragraphs. This is around, this is 17 paragraphs. This is around 11 paragraphs. So this is the second biggest, theme uh, in the um, introduction essay. That is the five subjects of the Bhagavad Gita. Now remember these themes of divisions, what I have done based on the entire essay, that paragraphs 1 to 8 is the spirit of Bhagavad Gita, 9 to 11 is the purpose of the Bhagavad Gita, 13 to 26, the five subjects of the Bhagavad Gita. This is actually Prabhupada himself did the analysis of his essay, analysis of the Bhagavad Gita. It is based on that. So yesterday we have seen the purpose of the Bhagavad Gita is to deliver mankind from nescience, because everyone is suffering in this world and Bhagavad Gita is meant for that. Now, yes, so now Bhagavad Gita is meant to deliver mankind from nescience. Now, what is there in the Bhagavad Gita? You know, now every book there is a subject. So, what are the subjects in the Bhagavad Gita? So, in that context, Prabhupada is describing the five subjects of the Bhagavad Gita. So, you can see how systematic is Prabhupada's introduction essay. In fact, I would say that Srila Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita essay is a masterpiece. And anyone who can read and assimilate, I'm using the word assimilator, please remember. Anyone who can read and assimilate even the introduction essay, he can become a pure devotee. He can become a fully Krishna conscious devotee. So that's how he has put in everything in his introduction essay. So now let's today begin with paragraphs 13 to 26, the five subjects of the Bhagavad Gita. Practically, I feel that we'll be covering and reading through the entire essay. Here and there, some points I'll be adding. There are no concepts which we are discussing because these five subjects, I have covered them in the Panchanga Nyaya. And we will be just correlating with Panchanga Nyaya, the five subjects what Prabhupada is describing. And then uh, we will see these five subjects based on also what Srila Baldev Vidyabhushan in his introduction to Bhagavad Gita has given in his commentary to the Gita Bhushan. So that is an additional study apart from this theme which we are studying. That is the third theme, the five subjects of the Bhagavad Gita. Okay, so let's begin with this now. I'll carefully read, and if you're having any questions also, please feel free to raise your hands. Okay. Now, having established the purpose of the Bhagavad Gita, No. So now we know the purpose. Okay, now I'm going to read the Bhagavad Gita. But what does the Bhagavad Gita deal with? It deals with this five topics. So Prabhupada comes to that in paragraph 13. The subject of the Bhagavad Gita entails the comprehension of five basic truths. Now, anyone remembers what are these five basic truths? We have discussed this concept. Anyone remembers? Shubha Ikshana Krishna Prabhuji. Yes.
प्रभु ईश्वर जीव प्रकृति काल कर्म
Ishvara, Jiva, Prakriti, Kal, and Karma. But I have not discussed this Ishwar, Prakriti, Kal, and Karma.
हाँ,
I have discussed something else, if you remember.
नो प्रभु आई डोंट रिमेम्बर सॉरी.
Panchanga Nyaya. What
हाँ,
is what is Panchanga Nyaya?
आई थिंक आई मिस्ड दैट क्लास.
That is why I told if you miss any class, na, then you will not understand the flow, what is happening here. So, Ishwar, Prakriti, Kal, and Karma is what Prabhupada is mentioning. But in the beginning of our first day essay introduction, we discussed what is called as the Panchangane. Nature of Brahman, this is Ishwar. Nature of the soul, this is Jiva and its relation to Brahman, Sambandh Gyan. And Prakriti, material energy, its origin and connection to Brahman. Again, this is Sambandh, all three. Now, means of attaining Brahman and nature of the supreme goal and the status of the Jiva and Jivan Mukta. Now, this has to do with karma and kal. Because ultimately now the Jiva is bound between time and space, karma, you know, and only with the passage of performing sadhana over a period of time, then the time will come when his karma is completely dissolved and he becomes liberated, you know. So, so Kal and karma are dealt in Abhidheya and Prayojan in that sense. So these are the five topics. Now, again, I would like to mention that these five subjects, is very, very important for devotees to study. In fact, you know, this is the foundational thing which we need to study, the five subjects of the Bhagavad Gita. And anyone knows any book which only deals with the five subjects of the Bhagavad Gita? Anyone knows? Is there any book anyone knows? Anyone is aware that there is a book? Nandini Mataji, are you aware any book just on the five topics? Are you there?
Yes, Guruji.
Yeah. Any book on just on the five topics?
Don't know Guruji.
Not aware. Anyone else is aware? So the book is actually Vedanta Samantak. Vedanta Samantak is a book, actually it is said that Baldev Vidyabhushan wrote it, but, Radha Raman Goswami looks like, it is more of a work of Radha Raman Goswami. And Vedanta is there in the Vedanta Sutra. Samantak is the jewel, you know, just like, you have a jewel and the center is a pedant. So Samantak money, you know that, right? So the entire essence of the Vedanta Sutra is presented in Vedanta Samantak. And the Vedanta Samantak actually is just an in-depth analysis of these five topics. Ishvara, Jiva, Prakriti, and Kal. A very in-depth analysis. And Srila Baldev Vidyabhushan, in his introduction to his Bhagavad Gita commentary, has dealt with these 5 topics. And Srila Prabhupada, while he writing his commentary on the Bhagavad Gita in the introduction essay, uses this concept from Baldev Vidyabhushan, which he has presented in his introduction essay. But actually, Vedanta Samantak is the actual work. In essence, actually, as Gaudiya Vaishnavas, everyone knows, there are some basic books, elementary books we should study. Just like grammar means, it is Brennan and Martin that one should study. So similarly, if you want to enter into grammar, English grammar, and in Sanskrit grammar, it is mainly Paninian Vyakaran. Harinamat Vyakaran is there for Gaudiyas, but Paninian Vyakaran. So similarly, if you want to study basic foundational philosophy of Gaudiya Vaishnavism, one should actually study 2 works. One is Vedanta Samantak, and which is the other one? Anyone knows or anyone wants to guess? One is Vedanta Samantak, I said, which deals with the 5 basic truths. What is the other one? Anyone? Anyone knows? Shubha Ikshan Krishnoji. What is the other book we should study?
Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu.
Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu is when you enter into Bhakti. When before entering into Bhakti, the Siddhanta, the entrance test to go into IIT, you have to study, na? So similarly, foundational book while you enter into spiritual life. I
Bhagavad
mentioned
Gita.
Bhagavad Gita is also still more advanced, part of Bhakti Shastri. Actually, it is Sarvabhaum Samvad in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. First, Mayavad Khandan. So, philosophical definitions are all discussed in Sarvabhaum Samvad. So, these 2 books, Vedanta Samantak and Sarvabhaum Samvad. So, someday we want to start the Sarvabhaum Samvad, definitely verse by verse from the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Let us see if Krishna, desires. We will very soon start this. Vedanta Samantak, of course, I'm not personally still familiar with that topic. I have to learn from a teacher, study it. I have 2 English versions of it and study it thoroughly, and then maybe I can take a course. But, basic these 5 truths, these are very in-depth philosophy. But Prabhupada is quite relatively covering it also in depth here in his. He has devoted almost one paragraph to each. So let us see. First of all, the science of God is explained, and then the constitutional position of the living entities. So this is Ishwar, this is Jiva. There is Ishwar, which means controller, and there are Jivas, the living entities, which are controlled. You see, Prabhupada, such a expert acharya, he takes Ishwar first topic, and then he says it is Jiva. But according to Panchanga Nyaya, Prabhupada goes, the relationship, the nature of the Jiva in relation to Brahman. So he's directly mentioning Ishwar is controller, Jivas are controlled. You see? If a living entity says that he is not controlled, but that he is free, then he is insane, Prabhupada says. The living being is controlled in every respect, at least in his conditioned life. So Prabhupada's statement also, at least in his conditioned life, even in the, in the liberated life, he is also under control, but that control is out of prema. But here now he is controlled by the laws of material nature. So the living entity is always controlled. He is controlled by the love of Krishna in the spiritual world. But now he is controlled by the laws of material nature. So in the Bhagavad Gita, the subject matter deals with Ishwar, the supreme control, and the Jiva, the controlled living entities. So you can see in the Panchanga Nyaya, what are these 2 called? Anyone? Raise their hands. From the Panchanga Nyaya, what are these 2 called? Nandini Mataji, yes.
Ishwar is said to be nature of Brahman,
Yes. And then
and Jiva is nature of soul and his real relation with Brahman.
Brahman. So what is the nature of Brahman? Tell me.
Satchitanand.
No, 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 no. Don't tell answers from your head. Tell me from what Prabhupada is stating.
From here, it's a supreme controller.
This is the nature of Brahman. He is the supreme controller. And what is the nature of the Jiva?
Jiva. He's being controlled.
He's controlled by the Ishwar. So you see how Prabhupada is so Upanishadic in his presentation. You know? So you see Prabhupada is following Panchanganya here, Although he is not using these terms, I'm just sharing again that slide. Okay, I'll keep that slide here. You see, nature of Brahman, these are the uh, the subjects. Yeah, I'm keeping it here. So there is nature of Brahman. Prabhupada is pointing out that he is the supreme controller. And nature of soul, it's by constitution, and the relation to Brahman, it is controlled. So this is what Prabhupada is saying here. So he has given some understanding of Ishvara and Jiva, Prakriti and time. Prakriti and time, the duration of existence of the whole universe or the manifestation of material nature. And karma, activity are also discussed. So Prakriti, Kal and karma are also discussed is what Prabhupada is trying to say here. Okay. The cosmic manifestation is full of different activities. All living entities are engaged in different activities. So I'm just keeping this diagram so that if it is required. Now I want devotees to answer. From Bhagavad Gita, we must learn what God is, what the living entities are, what Prakriti is, what is the cosmic manifestation, what the cosmic manifestation, how it is controlled by time, and what are the activities of the living entities. So Prabhupada is saying from Bhagavad Gita, we must learn this. Ishwar, what God is, what the living entity is, or Jiva, what Prakriti is, Prakriti, and what the cosmic manifestation is. Actually, it is dealing with Prakriti only. And how it is controlled by time. Prakriti is having Kala control. And what are the activities? So the Kala is in one sense, the fifth topic of Panchangana in one sense. So all the five topics Prabhupada is covering of Panchangana here. Now, next paragraph, paragraph 14. Now, if you have questions, please feel free to ask. Now, I'm just sharing with all of you. You can share. How do you feel now when we are studying this introduction based on the concepts? What are your thoughts, Nandini Mataji?
मुझे feel like हमें कुछ पता ही नहीं है.
Right. You have all studied this and you felt, now it is, I have studied this introduction and I'm thorough with it. Now I'm studying all other philosophies in depth. Okay, what is your thoughts, Shubha Yukshan Krish Prabhuji?
Prabhu, actually unfathomable that introduction itself is so much of tattva and so many things are there. So
Oh, yes.
I can't say sorry. It's too much.
Okay. Okay. Ananda, Prabhu, what are your thoughts?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dharma Salam to all. Prabhuji, what I feel is that it's so deep that sometimes I feel that whatever I have studied is actually come to nothing. So, so the lesson learned is to go through these whatever you are sharing, and then start reading, uh,
Ah, you
keeping that.
have the proper lens now by which you can now see the Bhagavad Gita. Right? Okay. Okay. Chakrama Prabhu, what are your thoughts?
Not to all. First, as same, I do not know anything, and you are bombarding my brains.
No, I'm not doing it. Prabhupada is doing it. All the acharyas are doing it. No. These are actually what we are studying is, I'll tell you, they are basic ABCD, in fact. They are ABCD, which any student who comes into spiritual life should know. And after even 10-15 years, we don't know these terminologies. How many of you knew Panchanganai? Raise your hands. How many did not know? Raise your hands. That's best to ask. Panchanganai. Yeah. Anand, okay, none of you know. See? Panchanganai. So this is so basic. Lower hands. Yeah. Okay. Okay, the next paragraph. I'm going to the next paragraph now. Out of these 5 basic subject matters in Bhagavad Gita, it is established the Supreme Godhead, Krishna, Brahman. See, Prabhupada uses Brahman here. First, he uses Supreme Person, Supreme Godhead, and it is Krishna, and then he says Brahman, or the Supreme Controller, or Paramatma. You may use whatever name you like. Is the greatest of life. last, he says this. Is the greatest of. The living beings are in quality like the Supreme Controller. For instance, the Lord has control over the universal affairs of material nature, as will be explained in the later chapters of Bhagavad Gita. Material nature is not independent. She is acting under the directions of the Supreme Lord. Now, what is Prabhupada trying to explain here when he's speaking with Prakriti? Anyone? What is he speaking of the relation? Nandini Mataji. Prabhupada is started speaking about Prakriti also. What is he speaking about Prakriti?
That Prakriti is also subservient to Lord. Lord is controller of everything.
The nature of Prakriti and its relation to Brahman, Prabhupada is speaking now. Got it?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, Prabhupada is so expert in Acharya. As Lord Krishna says, Maya Dakshina Prakriti Suyate Sacharacharam. This material nature is working under my direction. Okay, next paragraph. Not next paragraph, I think the slide. Yeah, still paragraph 14 only. When we see wonderful things happening in the cosmic nature, we should know that behind this cosmic manifestation, there is controller. There has to be a controller because it's a very huge cosmic machine. Nothing could be manifested without being controlled. It is childish not to consider controller. So Prabhupada says, all these scientists are childish. They feel that a satellite needs to be controlled and thousands of brains in NASA will sit and control that satellite. And this whole earth is also a satellite. It doesn't require any controller. So if something is manifested, it has to be controlled. It cannot be without control. Then Prabhupada says it's childish. For instance, a child may think that an automobile is quite wonderful to be able to run without a horse or another animal pulling it. But the sane man knows the nature of automobile's engineering arrangement. So there is an engine, there is a fuel, there are no horses pulling it. You know, in fact, suddenly thinking of this example, when the Britishers first laid the railway tracks and the farmers, used to see this railway running without any horses. So they thought that maybe the horses are inside in the engine. They are pulling the engine. That's one way, innocence also, and the purity and lack of knowledge also, you can say. Because their idea was correct. Without a horse, it cannot run. Manually pulling it. Because that's their idea. Bullock carts, horse carts, they knew about it. So how is this, running, So it's childish to think like that, So a sane man knows that. He always knows that behind the machinery there is a machine, a driver. Similarly, Supreme Lord is a driver under whose direction everything is working. Now, the jivas, the living entities, have been accepted by the Lord, as we will note in the later chapters, as in part and parcels. So, where does Krishna say that the jivas are his part and parcels? Where does Krishna say in the Bhagavad Gita? Anand Prabhuji, yes.
Chapter 12, Prabhuji.
Chapter 12. Where does Krishna tell in chapter 12 that the living entity is a part and parcel of his, Prabhuji? Can you enlighten us?
just trying to think where he says that you should worship not on the impersonal form, but on the personal form, where he talks
Yeah,
about.
but where there a point comes that the living entities are his part and parcels.
Oh, okay.
Anyone else? Where does Krishna say that living entities are his part and parcels? This is a very famous verse, Baba. Shubha Yakshan Krishna Prabhuji. Where does he say? The Lord.
No, Prabhu, can't recollect.
My.
Somewhere chapter 2 maybe, but not sure.
Nandini Mataji.
अहम ब्रह्म प्रजापिता.
My goodness, I am really shocked and surprised that devotees don't know this standard verse, famous verse. Mame Vamsho Jiva Loka Jiva Bhuta Sanatana.
जीवभूता सनातना मनुष्यस्त्रम. Yes.
Yeah. No, Krishna's emphatic declaration that you are my Amsha, Mama Eva Amsha, Mame Vamsho. Bhagavad Gita 15.7. You belong, you belong to me, Krishna is saying. Hmm? Okay, paragraph 14 is continuing. So child might think, but the Supreme is the driver and Jivas are his part and parcels. So now Prabhupada is giving a standard material example. A particle of gold is also gold. A drop of water from the ocean is also salty. And similarly, we living entities being part and parcel of the Supreme Controller, Ishwar, or Bhagavan Lord Krishna, have all the qualities of Supreme Lord in minute quantity because we are minute Ishwar, subordinate Ishwars. Not independent Ishwars, we are subordinate Ishwars. So the Jivas, Bhagavan is like the fire and the Jivas are like sparks. So they are emanating from the fire, so they have the qualities of fire. But they are small sparks. That's the difference. So Prabhupada is giving how many examples here to show that the qualities of the Supreme Lord and the Jiva are the same. How many examples he's quoting here? Raise your hands. You know, the statement is here right in front of you. Okay, Subha Ikshan Krish Prabhuji. Yes. Tell me.
Prabhu, two examples, one of gold, other of water.
No, not water. It is okay.
Saltiness of
Salt water. That is very important. You know. So now tell me, Ishwar is compared to what?
Ishwar is compared to the gold, which is like the main property.
Main property. What is this main
Like
property?
here in gold, it is the whole gold, and then in water, it is the whole property of water, which is like the ocean over here.
No. We'll have to, rewire our brain to think in terms of Shastra Darshan. You know. So gold means gold mine. Huge quantity of gold. Okay.
Yes.
Are you getting this?
Yes, Prabhu.
And particle of gold means from that gold mine you take a small piece of gold and you make a gold ring.
Yes.
Okay. And now you tell me the second example. What is Ishwar?
The whole water entity, Prabhu, ocean here.
The ocean, Lavana Sagar it is.
Yes.
And what is Jiva?
One drop of that ocean.
One drop water of that ocean. So here one thing is established. One is, although these spiritual concepts are there are material examples given because we are in the material world and something which we can relate to the material world we can understand. Although there for spiritual subjects or spiritual concepts There is no material comparison, but still, for materially conditioned souls, these material examples are given to explain spiritual concepts because we can relate to them only. That which is beyond the body, mind, and senses and intellect, transcendence, which is unapproachable with material intelligence or with our senses or with our mind. How do we understand that reality? We need certain examples, and that is why these examples are given. Now, I gave one example. Which was that example, Subhaikshan Krishnaji? I'm trying to test how attentive you are. I gave one example. What was that example?
Mm.
Hmm?
Mm-hmm.
I gave the example of fire and sparks of fire emanating from fire.
Yes, Prabhu.
So there is a whole huge fire, and from this fire there are sparks coming out. They are tiny sparks. And these tiny sparks also have the quality of what?
Fire.
They have the quality of fire. So similarly, Prabhupada is explaining that actually these jivas are also God. Please understand. And try to understand in the right way. The jivas are gods because they are God's particles. But they are actually, in one sense, Krishna in the Uddhav Gita says, Sukshmanam aham jiva, he says. Among all the subtlest things, because the jiva is of a spiritual dimension, 1/10,000 tip of the hair. I am that jiva, Krishna is saying. That means jiva are actually, Ishwars. But they are minute. The sparks cannot be equal to fire. The sparks also emanate heat and light, but fire emanates huge heat and huge light. So fire has tremendous power. Spark also, a small spark is sufficient. Shubha Kishan Prabhu, is a small spark sufficient to lit an entire forest into fire?
Yes, Prabhu.
A small spark is sufficient. So spark has that power that it can burn an entire forest fire. So the spark in this world can create huge buildings, space satellites and all, but can it create a universe? No.
No.
So that is the difference. So we are all actually in one sense God. And please don't misunderstand this. Have the right Siddhantic understanding, because we are parts of God's particle. So we are having all godly qualities. That's what we have, all the qualities of Supreme Lord in minute quantity. And Prabhupada is saying because we are minute Ishwars or subordinate Ishwars. So three things, Prabhupada is mentioning here. We are minute Ishwars, we are subordinate Ishwars, and all these qualities are in minute proportions. Okay, so up till now, I hope you are able to, follow me and you're with me, you're in sync with me. We are trying to control nature. As presently, we are trying to control space or planets. And this tendency to control is there because it is in Krishna. See, Prabhupada, why Krishna is Param Ishwara. And this Ishwar quality is there in us also. And that is why we are trying to control nature. And we are trying to control space. Even as children, I'm just asking, Nandini Mataji,
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
as a kid, you used to play with the toys.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Actually, you're exhibiting your controlling nature. This is my house, this is my home, this is my toy. This is all controlling nature only.
Yeah.
But we don't realize that the tendency is very deep rooted of being the controller. That's the point. The tendency, Prabhupada is speaking about it. Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. But although we have the tendency to laud with material nature, we should know that we are not the supreme controller. This is explained in the book. So, although this tendency is there to control, but we are not the supreme controller. This is now in the next paragraph. So, what did Prabhupada cover in the first paragraph? Who will tell us? What did Prabhupada cover? Not in the first paragraph, in the second paragraph. What did he cover? Okay, first and second paragraph, summarize. Who will summarize? Anand Prabhuji. Are you there with us?
Yeah, I joined around 6:15, so I'm just trying to recollect.
Oh, then hold on. If you have joined 6:15, then wait. We started at 6:05. So Nandini Mataji, you were there from starting. What in
Yeah.
first and second paragraph Prabhupada covers?
Oh, basically about Ishwar, Prakriti, and Jiva.
Hmm. Kal and karma also he gives, that these are the five topics.
Yeah, first starting, all five topics are put
Yes, yes.
forward,
Then
and then afterwards, later, more about Prakriti, Jiva, and Ishwar, their
and
relationship.
more about Ishwar and
Prakriti and Jiva.
no. Ishwar and Jiva. More. He
Yeah,
mentions that
Prakriti also, like when Prabhat says that
Prakriti is under control of
controlled, yeah,
controlled by the Lord because he's the supreme controller. But now he more focuses on Ishwar
Jiva
and Jiva.
and that we are part and parcels.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that's how he covers. Now the next paragraph goes to Prakriti. Okay. So you see how systematic is Prabhupada's presentation. Prakriti. Okay. What is material nature? That is also explained in the Gita as inferior Prakriti, inferior nature. Now, where in the Gita is Prakriti referred to as inferior nature? Who will answer this? Raise your hands. Where in the Gita is material nature is considered as inferior Prakriti? Who will answer? Shubha Ekshana Krishna Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji.
Prabhu Maya Prakriti Idam Partha, that verse.
Maya Prakriti Idam Partha. There is no such verse only in the Bhagavad Gita, according to me.
Mm, yes,
Maya Tadam Idam Sarvam Jagat Avyakta Murtina is there. But Maya is Prakriti Partha करके नहीं है.
sorry, Prabhu.
Which verse? At least you know the verse number, at least tell us.
Ah, no, Prabhu, this is something I could just think of, but I think definitely I'm totally
Do you
wrong.
have the Bhagavad Gita in your hand?
Yes, Prabhu, I have in front of me. Yes.
Very good, very good. Okay, at least that much efforts is appreciated. Chakra Ram Prabhuji, I am also holding the Bhagavad Gita in my hand now. Tell me.
Kriramani,
Huh?
Prakriti Kriramani, the
No, you
is
have to
doing
speak a
it
little
actually.
loudly and clearly, Prabhuji.
Prakriti Kriyamanani. Prakriti does the
Prakriti
work.
Kriyamanani. What is this Prakriti Kriyamanani? Where in like this verse is there?
Uh,
3
actually,
point,
I can tell
3.27
you
you are
the
referring to.
meaning.
You are referring to
Yes.
3.27. But where it is mentioned that this Prakriti is the inferior nature of the Lord, I am really feeling that we are not speaking to Prakriti Kriyamani Gune Karmani Sarvasha Ankar Vimudatma Karta Minite. That the Jiva thinks that I am the doer, but everything is executed by Prakriti. But where this Prakriti is considered as an inferior energy, where it is mentioned? Nandini Mataji.
Maya Dakshina Prakriti.
Oh, Maya Dakshina Prakriti. Interesting answer.
9.10.
9.10. Maya Dakshina Prakriti. Krishna is saying this Prakriti is under my control. But where it
Yeah.
is mentioned that this Prakriti is an inferior energy is my question. I think we all are first time studying the Bhagavad Gita now. You should at least study the Bhagavad
Mama
Gita 10.
Maya Durattaya.
Mama Maya Turataya is how, it is mentioned, it is my Maya, which is difficult to surpass. But where this Prakriti is mentioned as an inferior energy is my question. Such a simple question I'm asking. Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita is telling, Bhumi Rapo Analo Vayu, Kham Manor Buddhi Revacha, Ahankar Iti Amme, Bhinna Prakriti Ashtada. This is my separated energy. And this separated energy is inferior that he mentions in the next verse. Aparam itastu anyam. So this is apara, inferior to this. There is another Prakriti which is superior. That is Jiva. So where Krishna mentions, now you tell me, Nandini Mataji, in which verse?
Just, 7 point, what was that? 7.3, 7.4.
This is 7.4.
Yeah.
So 7.4 or 7.5?
7.5.
Please remember it is 7.5. He mentions that it is inferior. So mark in your Bhagavad Gita 7.5. This is how we have to study Bhagavad Gita. PG 7.5 and 7.4 also you can refer where it is and separated energy of the Lord, but it is explained that it is inferior Prakriti. The living entity is also explained as superior Prakriti. Now tell me, Nandini Mataji, where is the living entity explained as superior Prakriti? Let us see now. Nandini Mataji, you only have an answer.
Next shloka it was there, na?
Which next
7.6.
loka?
7.6.
We did not refer to 7.6 at all.
I think before.
Okay, I will show you the verse and if you can tell me seeing the verse. Aparam itastu anyam prakritim vidyam me param jiva bhuto mahamao edam dharete jagat.
Same 7.5 second line.
In this jiva is para prakriti. It's superior prakriti. So that is mentioned in 7 point and this is mentioned in 7.P1, you can say, Pada 1. This is mentioned in Pada 2, 7.5. P2, Pada 2. Prakriti is always under control, whether inferior or superior. That is both. The inferior Prakriti and superior Prakriti are always controlled. So the nature of Jiva and the nature of Prakriti is that both are controlled by Ishwar. Prakriti is female and she is controlled by the Lord just as the activities of a wife are controlled by the husband. Now this is too much for sometimes to, for Matajis to hear this. But what's the problem actually? What is the problem? Nandini
Very
Mataji?
good, Ruchi. What was?
Huh?
Ruchi, I didn't hear your voice.
Okay, now I mentioned here Prakriti is female and she is
Huh.
controlled by the Lord just as the activities of a wife are controlled by the husband.
Hmm.
Now when Mataji is here, they feel, array, this is, why Prabhupada stated. But what is the problem in trying to understand this statement? My Mataji, I'm saying.
I, I didn't feel any problem, Ruchi. That's
But there
correct.
can be a problem. I want to know what the problem is.
Sometimes Mataji may feel that we are inferior, we are being
Oh,
controlled.
But what is the problem now? You tell me.
They want to be controller, maybe once they are equal, we are put down like that of feeling.
But actually, we should understand that the male also is also Prakriti. So whether it is a Mataji or a Prabhuji, both are Prakriti and both are controlled by the Lord, because although they are in a dress of a male or a female, but the soul is what?
Prakriti
Prakriti it
only.
is. Ah. So we should not take it like that. That Mataji should not take it like that. Arey, no. Just as, wife is controlled. But we have to understand whether one is husband or one is wife, both are wives. And the real husband is Krishna. So we should understand from a transcendental perspective and not take this material example. And because if we think, Arey, I am wife, no, you have to understand I am Prakriti. And the Purusha also in the body is also Prakriti. And both are trying to become Purushas. That is our real problem. We have to understand. So that's how we should see this example. Prakriti is always subordinate, predominated by the Lord, who is predominator. The living entities and material nature are both predominated, controlled by the Supreme Lord. According to the Gita, the living entities, although part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, are to be considered Prakriti. This is clearly mentioned in the 7th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. Now, again, Nandini Mataji, where in the 7th chapter it is mentioned that, both the Jiva and the inferior energy, material nature, are Prakriti. Tell us.
Same 7.5.
No, 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 no. Please hear carefully my question. Tell me where material nature is considered Prakriti. In which verse? Whether it is 7.4 or 7.5. If you want, I'll show you the verse. I want you all to start studying Gita from the lens of, the philosophical definitions. Tell me.
मेरे को ना लगा ये. This was 7.4 exclusively speaking about Prakriti.
Hmm. No, no. See, material nature it is speaking, but whether it is Prakriti, where it is mentioned in 7.4.
भिन्ना प्रकृतिष्ठदा.
Very good. It is Bhinna Prakriti. And this is Apara Prakriti, that is all explained in the next verse. Now, where is the Jiva mentioned as Prakriti? Tell me.
Jiva's mention is on second part of fifth verse.
Prakritim Vidyam me Param. And that is Jiva Bhuta. Very good. Excellent. So the Jiva also is Prakriti, and the Bhairanga Shakti is also Prakriti, but this is Para Prakriti, that's it. Superior energy, and this is inferior energy. So that's how we have to understand this. BRB. What is BRB, Anand Prabhuji? I'm not able to understand what you are trying to say. BRB. Anand Prabhuji. Haribol. Okay, please don't type anything, otherwise it is a distraction sometimes while studying. We are trying to study. So both are considered Prakriti. This is mentioned in, now you can note down in your books. This is Bhagavad Gita 7.4 P4 and Bhagavad Gita 7.5 P2. And Prabhupada is quoting this. Aparamitastu anyam prakritim vidyam me param jiva bhuta. The material nature is my inferior prakriti. So both 7.5 also you can take, but it is my prakriti is mentioned in the aparam. It is mentioned, that is mentioned in the previous verse. But beyond this, there's another prakriti jiva bhuta, the living entity. Now, further, Prabhupada is explaining about material nature, prakriti. Now, this is coming in the next paragraph. I will take up this paragraph also. Material nature itself is constituted by three qualities: the mode of goodness, the mode of passion, and mode of ignorance. So Prakriti, moment we say Prakriti na, first thing we should understand, Prakriti means three modes: goodness, passion, and ignorance. This should be how our thinking should be. You know, moment we say Prakriti means three modes. Above these modes, there is eternal time, and by the combination of these modes of nature under the control and purview of eternal time, there are activities which are called as karma. So Prabhupada is now defining what is karma. Activities done in, in the modes under the purview of time is called karma. I did this activity in the past, and today I am facing the reactions of it. So for karma to operate, it requires you know, the medium of time, karma, the Kala Shakti. It works under the Kala Shakti. These activities are being carried out from time immemorial, and we are suffering or enjoying the fruits of our activities. So I already gave this example. For instance, suppose I'm a businessman and I have worked very hard with intelligence and have amassed a great bank balance. Then I'm enjoyer. But then say I have lost all my money in business, then I'm a sufferer. So like that. Under Kala, there is karma, and then karma means enjoyer, punya, or papa, suffering, like that. Similarly, in every field of life, we enjoy the results of our work or we suffer the results. This is called karma. So another definition of karma Prabhupada is presenting. Okay, now Prabhupada is summarizing up till now. He has discussed Ishvara, Jiva, Prakriti, Kal, and Karma. He has given little bit understanding. He says Ishvara, Jiva, Prakriti, Kala, Karma are all explained in the Bhagavad Gita. Okay, now up to now here, do you have any questions? Any questions, any clarifications you have? Do you have any questions? Subha Ikshan Krishna Prabhuji, yes.
Prabhu, as we just discussed that Prakriti is three modes of nature, generally it is that, but it can also be like Jiva in terms of male, female, or it depends on the context, Prabhu, right?
No. Jiva is always Prakriti, but it is conscious Prakriti. It is not inert like matter. Prabhupada will come to that. But Jiva is conscious because it is a superior energy. Just like the Lord is conscious being, the Jiva is also a conscious being. But you have to understand that it is Prakriti. It is Shakti. Shaktiman is Krishna. Krishna is the Shaktiman and the Jiva is his Shakti. And Prakriti is enjoyed by the Purush. The Purush, enjoys his Shaktis. And the Jivas are also his Shaktis. So in that sense, we have to always understand, not go into this male-female concept. Male and female is the body. It is Prakriti only actually. Inert matter has been, given a shape of a male form or a female dress, or a dress of an ant, or a dress of a crocodile, or a dress of an elephant. Again, in whatever, which has a male function or a female function. It is again a body, and the body is also made of Prakriti. But you have to understand the Jiva by ontological truth. Ontology means the nature of existence of reality, Vastu. Vastu Gyan, you have to understand that by constitution, the Jiva is Prakriti. Are you getting this point?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay. Any other questions you have?
No, Prabhu.
Okay. Any others have any questions up till now? Okay. So I'll just complete this paragraph. I'm going a little slow because, so much Prabhupada has written in the paragraphs, so we have to understand this. So Ishwar, Jiva, Prakriti, Kal, and are all explained them. Out of these five, the Lord, living entities, material nature, time are eternal. So all these four are eternal. The manifestation of Bhakti may be temporary, but it is not false. So Prakriti, no, is also eternal. No, this is a little difficult because Prakriti is manifest and unmanifest. So we feel that it is not eternal. So Prabhupada is saying the manifestation of Prakriti is temporary, but it is not false. Now, the best example for this is mud. Mud is like Prakriti. And there is the pot. Very poor in diagram. Please forgive me for that. There is the pot. And this is the creation. And this is done by the potter. That is Krishna. So, mud is transformed into pot. Now, the mud is always there. And sometimes it is manifest as pot. And when the pot breaks, it again comes back to its state as mud. So, Prakriti is always eternal. And sometimes it is manifested. It is temporarily manifested. But since this is a reality, the pot is also a reality. It is not something false because it is created by the Lord Himself, the potter. You cannot say that this is false. This whole Mayavad philosophy, it looks very simple, but it is very subtle and deep, and it can completely, destroy your whole spiritual life. Mayavadi Bhashya Sunila Hoila Sarvanash, that's what it is said. So, in reality, if you say that this material world is false, you have pots and you're drinking water from the pot. You cannot say that this pot is false. Otherwise, how, if you can't hold the water in the pot, then you can't drink the water, right? So, if something is false, then you cannot use it in reality. But you are using the pot in reality. So that's why you cannot say that Prakriti is false. Its manifestation is temporary and there is utility. Some philosophers say that the manifestation of material nature is false. But according to the philosophy of Bhagavad Gita or according to the philosophy of Vaishnavas, this is not so. What Prabhupada is right here only hammering this. The manifestation word is not accepted as false as it is accepted as real, but temporary. It is real, but temporary. Please remember that. It is likened unto a cloud which moves across the sky or the coming of the rainy season which nourishes grain. So the clouds forming is also temporary, and the rain coming in which nourishes the grain. As soon as the rainy season is over or as soon as the clouds go away, all the crops which are nourished by the rain dry up. Similarly, this material measure takes place at certain intervals, stays for a while and then disappears. Such are the workings of Prakriti, but this cycle is working eternally. And that is why Prakriti is said to be eternal. Therefore, Prakriti is eternal. It is not false. It is not false. The Lord refers to this as my Prakriti, Bhinna Prakriti Ashtada. The material nature is the separated energy of the Supreme Lord, and similarly, the living entities are also the energy of the Lord, although they are not separated, but eternally related. So for Prakriti, he says it is Bhinna Prakriti, but for Jivas, Krishna doesn't say this. Mamevamsha Jiva Loka, Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. So what's the problem here? Why does Krishna doesn't say he's my Bhinna, separated energy? Why he says that it is his part and parcel? Anyone, any thoughts on this? Any thoughts on this? Yes, Nandini Mataji.
Maybe because by qualities we have the same qualities of Krishna.
We are manifested along with the Lord. That is the reason we are eternally like. Do the sparks need separate manifestation? They are manifest along with the fire.
Lord.
Does heat and light has to separately manifest? It manifests along with the fire. So the relation is eternal. It is not broken. That's why Krishna tells Mame Vamsha Jivaloka. Whereas while defining this apara prakriti says Binna prakriti, it is separated. Because material manifestation is a separate energy of the Lord which he employs for creation at particular intervals. So that is the subtle difference you have to understand. So the Lord, living entity, material nature, and time are all interrelated and are all eternal. However, the other item, karma, is not eternal. The effects of karma may be very old indeed. We are suffering or enjoying the results of our activities from time immemorial, but we can change the results of our karma or our activity, and this change depends on the perfection of knowledge. We are engaged in various activities. Undoubtedly, we do not know what sort of activities we should adopt to gain relief from the actions and reactions of these activities. But this is also explained in the Bhagavad Gita. So, which chapter of Bhagavad Gita more speaks about how to become free from the law of karma? Of course, in many places it is discussed, but where in more in detail it is discussed in one sense. Who will answer this? Let us see. Most of your Bhagavad Gita students also studying the Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's Gita commentary, so you should know it well. Who will answer this? Shubha Ikshan Krish Prabhuji, yes.
So I think chapter 3, Prabhu, where Nishkam Karma Yoga and all.
What you think it is chapter
It
3?
is, yes.
Kim karma akarmeti kavayapi
Yes,
tatra mohita. Kavayapi apya mohita. Tat tep karma pravakshami yajnatva moksha sheshapat. So understanding this whole action of karma and karma, you become liberated. You become free from bondage. So that's what Prabhupada is saying. Okay. Now from here onwards, Prabhupada will devote again one paragraph for Ishvara, Jiva, and then further, he will explain more about the Jiva also. So this we will take up in the next class. 1 second. I'm going a little slow because I want you all to understand how in-depth is Prabhupada's essay, So I will stop here today and take up any questions if you have. Any questions, any clarifications up till now? Yes, Nandini Mataji.
Prabhuji, can you tell us about Radha Raman Goswami because I haven't heard it for first time.
Radha Raman Goswami, Radha Raman Goswami, I am not able to recollect. Actually, he was a disciple of whom? Okay, 1 second. Baldev Vidyabhushan came in touch with Radha Raman Goswami and uh, I'll find out, Mataji. Give me some time. I don't recollect now. Many years it is I had studied, so I'm not able to remember. So let me go back and see. So uh, let me go through and get back to you, Mataji, about
Yes,
Radharaman
yes,
Goswami.
Krishna.
Okay?
Yes, Krishna. Yes, sir. Thank you, Krishna.
Thank you. Any other question? Anyone has? Okay, it's 7:15 almost. So we will stop now and we'll continue our discussion next week. Next week or tomorrow? No, today is Sunday. Yeah? Okay. Okay, we'll continue next week. I'm going a little slow with the 5 topics because I want devotees to understand, this essay in depth. Okay, Hare Krishna. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भगवद गीता की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय. हरे कृष्ण.